This difference in fundamental outlook is what accounts for the polar opposite endings of the two novels. Where Anthem ends in freedom and triumph, with equality proclaiming a new philosophy of individualism and resolving to build a future society of freedom, Winston Smith in 1984 ends up defeated in the most ugly and ignoble way. Both 1984 and Anthem make reference to a spirit of man that will ultimately survive oppression and that will live on and break through and triumph in the end. In 1984, this idea is mentioned during Winston Smith's reintegration. He expresses the view to his torturer O'Brien that he believes that the party will ultimately be defeated. He says, "I know that you will fail. There is something in the universe, I don't know, some spirit, some principle that you will never overcome, the spirit of man." O'Brien replies, "If you are a man, Winston, you are the last man." And by the end of the novel, the spirit of man is completely crushed out of Winston. The novel ends with his total capitulation. He loved Big Brother. In Anthem, however, the spirit of man is mentioned at the very end of the novel. It's part of equality's inspiring him to man's ego, and there's no taking it back afterward like there is in 1984. Equality is thinking about the people of the past who saw the direction that the world was moving in and were unable to stop it from moving in that direction. This is what he says at the end of the novel when he's thinking about the people from the past. "I wonder, for it is hard for me to conceive how men who knew the word I could give it up and not know what they lost. But such has been the story, for I have lived in the city of the damned, and I know what horror men permitted to be brought upon them. Perhaps in those days there were a few among men, a few of clear sight and clean soul, who refused to surrender that word. What agony must have been theirs before that which they saw coming and could not stop. Perhaps they cried out in protest and in warning, but men paid no heed to their warning. And they, these few, fought a hopeless battle, and they perished with their banners smeared by their own blood. And they chose to perish, for they knew. To them I send my salute across the centuries, and my pity. Theirs is the banner in my hand. And I wish I had the power to tell them that the despair of their hearts was not to be final, and their night was not without hope. For the battle they lost can never be lost. For that which they died to save can never perish. Through all the darkness, through all the shame of which men are capable, the spirit of man will remain alive on this earth. It may sleep, but it will awaken. It may wear chains, but it will break through. And man will go on, man, not men.